Good afternoon, this is Jeff with Sewer Tech Northwest. Today we're at property address 2755 Glen Haven Road here in Lake Oswego. I describe everything as if you are standing in the street facing the front door of the home or the front of the house in general. We are on the left side of the home. Probably about 3/4 of the way back here, almost near the back left corner. We're just before the fence line, front yard side of the fence. Up against the house here, easy landmark to go off of, at least right now. You've got a white PVC, looks like an ejector line from something, some kind of drain is utilizing the clean out. So we're dropping into a 4-inch cast iron clean out, checking the overall condition and serviceability of the sanitary sewer line. Water is running. We're zeroed out and off we go. So on the note of the clean out, there is another way of doing this. It's not my favorite arrangement. Now we're gonna have to check this joint out here as we come back. I can't tell if that's excess. That almost looks like excess pipe grout potentially. It's hard to say what that is. We just swapped a 6-inch concrete there. Anyhow, the clean out remains wide open all the time. So there's a little bit nicer way to do these. You can kind of, do a hole saw into the top of a clean out cap. So that your pipe isn't sitting wide open all the time. You can see bark dust. You got a little bit floating around there in that standing water. Can get into the sewer line. Kids can drop things right down the sewer pipe. So we do have some standing water in the line, which we'll take a look at as we come out. We also have a big ball of toilet paper sitting here, which might be partially responsible for why the standing water is there. Okay, looks like you got a whole bunch of, that would appear to be a big, my camera is upside down, I apologize, I don't know why it will not situate the right direction. Jeez Louise. These things are humongous. I mean, this one here is blocking, 90+% of the line right now. Make sure I can safely navigate through that thing there. So, certainly have got some repair issues to deal with here. At least 2 very, very large roots. Alright, that looks like our main connection there at about 71 feet. Alrighty. So in my 2 cents on these older lines like this, I'll start going into this a little bit as we start reeling back in. When you've got older lines like this, especially where you've got foliage that is putting some pretty severe root intrusions through the sewer line, I'm kind of an all or nothing kind of person at this point. After doing 25,000 sewer scopes and been part of a lot of repairs, when you've got old concrete lines like this, I tend to recommend full updates versus spot repairs. You run the risk of jarring the soil in and around the concrete pipe, and you try and leave it in the ground, which often disrupts the pipe, causes the joints to separate or open up, and you've got pipe that starts to have issues down the road. So anyway, I'll individually mark the root intrusions with some white X's, but I will try and map this thing out end to end here. It's one of the lines that would be worth, potentially trying to cut the roots out of it, to get any debris out of it that may be obstructing the flow line, to see how your slope and grade is. It might be a line you could potentially do an epoxy liner on. Depends on how the slope and grade is. I just located the camera head successfully. Line terminates on Glen Haven. Line runs in a relatively straight shot to the street. I mean, you see the locate is out in the road. It's a relatively straight running line. I'm getting around 8 foot 2 inches deep. My locates are jumping around a little bit, but it was tended to settle in around 8 feet. So I've marked that with a white T marking. All right, we're gonna try and locate this big, and this thing is humongous. All right, that one's kind of in the gravel parking area in front of the front yard between the grass and the street. About 6 feet deep. That is marked with a big white X. All right, those are about 8-10 feet apart. About 5 foot 4 inches what I'm getting there. The one just further out from that was getting around 6 foot. Those are under grass and dirt there. We're coming back into a spot here with some standing water. That's very minor stuff we're looking at right now. Again, my camera's upside down. I'm sorry for that. But the standing water we just went through there was super, super minor. This thus far is as well. Although that right there is yet again another spot. So when you start getting issues like this throughout the line, especially on a line this age, it does not make sense to spot repair. I'd rather see an update done. Check with the city, see who's responsible in the roadway. But this is, if you're going to be trenching up and tearing up this much ground, or at least getting down to these depths, you know, even if the homeowner's responsible to the road, you can do these kind of in a two-part process. You could, you know, dig up the yard area and shoot a liner in under the street, trenchlessly, pipe burst it. There's some options, but at this juncture in time, with the age the line is, the issues it has throughout it, I would recommend a full update to all concrete pipe at this point. All right, about 4 foot 11 there. You're going to see 3 X markings out there. All the X's are roots. Now we are getting into some standing water now, and we're up to 1 inch. So anyway, and at the inch mark is where I start recommending repairs on stuff. And a lot of times in concrete pipe, standing water in concrete pipe means something different to me than what a lot of folks. Usually what causes that in concrete pipe is the pipe joints wearing out. The grout wears out, the joints become exposed to the ground, and it allows groundwater and dirt to seep in, which causes hydro erosion. And that leads to slow but sure settling. And that stuff coming through there, it's potentially pipe grout. It's also very possibly dirt. So some of this, if this starts crisscrossing or going underneath the pavers here, I'm not going to paint those, but my first marking is going to be at the transition from cast iron to concrete, if nothing else. So I'm getting about 1 foot 8 inches deep here, and knowing the depth here, and I mean, you've got a bush just about planted on top of that spot. My guess is that's probably dirt coming through there. Hard to say. Either way, I would recommend a full update all the way to the main lateral, ideally. Obviously, the main issues here are from the cast iron to concrete transition there up to the last root intrusion. This is just the opportune, best time to do this stuff. Well, if you've already got the ground opened up, you know, even if you did something like an epoxy liner on that pipe under the street, it's a hugely missed opportunity to get that updated. Well, it's much more cost effective to do it at this point in time. So that's what I would highly recommend here, at the very least to the last root intrusion. But I hate to see people miss opportunities like this, and end up having to spend much more money down the road to update the rest of it. So when it's already on the older end like this, it's just the time to do it. After any repairs are done, make sure a rescope is performed to check the work. You want to do that after the line is buried, not beforehand. You're not going to catch any settling problems. Cast iron pipe, they look good, the little bit of it that we did see.